this channel, you'll know that I love a luxury car, particularly ones that are underrated, that people don't really expect to be luxurious. So in this video, we look at 5 that depreciated pretty heavily down to around £30,000. All of them have really good luxury for the money, and they're pretty underrated. If you want to watch more videos like this, then do hit the like button and subscribe as well if you're new. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. We're kicking off this video with probably my personal favourite car on the list, the Skoda Superb, Lauren and Clement, which comes with a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4 producing just 187 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 7.6 seconds. It sits on the same platform as a bunch of other VW Group cars, and on its exterior it's a pretty basic looking car. I don't think it's a bad looking car at all, but it's not inspiring either. The Skoda badge doesn't help, particularly for a slightly older generation, given the jokes that were made about the brand before its VW days, like how do you make a Skoda go faster? Get someone else to help you push it. But as I mentioned in a previous video on Skoda being the people's luxury car brand, the Superb LK is genuinely surprisingly luxurious, beating its luxury rivals in multiple tests by journalists. LK is the top spec for Skoda, and it means premium materials, premium technology, and of course the best of Skoda's Simply Clever initiative, meaning it's not only luxurious but practical too. That includes features like leather upholstery with the Lauren and Clement logo embossed into it, glossy piano black material on the center console, and stainless steel door sills, plus heated and ventilated electronic seats, a panoramic roof, a premium sound system, heated steering wheel, and the rest. All that luxury starts at around £12,000, and for £30,000 you'll get a nice 2020 example with less than 20,000 miles on the clock, which is not bad considering brand new they were around £43,000. It's a well-known engine too by this point, meaning with newer models you can expect solid reliability for many miles to come. Older ones, watch out for coil packs. Next up we have a pretty big hybrid SUV, the Lexus RX 450h, which comes with a 3.5-litre V6 engine attached to an electric motor to create a combined 308 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 7.5 seconds. This is the 4th generation RX, released originally in 2015 with a refresh in 2019 to bring it a little bit more up to date in terms of styling. Having been in one of these, the materials are typically comfortable and the interior is relatively understated in terms of its luxury, but it certainly does the job. I think people sometimes forget that Lexus is the luxury brand for Toyota, and given Toyota usually have really solid build quality, see the Hilux or Land Cruiser as good examples, Lexus are usually focused more around that. It's got a nice infotainment system on it and the usual massive center console that you find on most Lexuses nowadays, with a nice swish design on the dashboard. On the exterior, I'm a fan of the floating roof design where the window appears to wrap around the back of the car. It reminds me a bit of a super yacht or something like that in terms of its shape, although SsangYong are the best at that kind of design. It also has great ride quality thanks to its adaptive variable suspension, and if you have a little more cash you might be able to get yourself into an RXL, which adds 11 centimeters and another row of seats into the car. You need to spend a minimum of around £22,000 to get into one of these, with £30,000 getting you a 2018 model with around 50,000 miles on it. Being a Lexus, reliability is great. Long term the batteries on these are known to need replacing, which can be an expensive job, but mechanically they are very sound cars. From one big car to another, the next car on this list is the Volvo XC90 with its 2-litre twin turbocharged inline-4 engine making 231 brake horsepower and managing 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds. Not bad for a car of its size. This is the 2nd generation XC90, which also had a facelift in 2019 and was a luxury competitor to the RX we just spoke about. And though the facelift definitely is the better looking or at least more modern looking car, don't turn your nose up at the pre-facelift. It was luxurious enough that to kick it off, Volvo put out a limited run first edition which had 1,927 numbered models, which represents the year the brand began. These first edition models went to some pretty rich people, with number 1 going to the King of Sweden and number 10 going to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the famous Swedish football player. It can come equipped with air suspension which can be electronically controlled for maximum ride quality, plus a whole host of other luxurious features like the gear lever made of Orifors crystal, diamond cut controls for the start-stop button and drive mode control, a 19-speaker Bowers and Wilkins audio system, as well as air-ventilated subwoofers and new luxury seats with adjustable side bolsters and a massage function. Add on Volvo's traditionally high levels of safety in the XC90 and you have a car that doesn't just keep you comfortable, it keeps you more alive in the case of something going wrong. £18,000 will just about get you into one of these, and £30,000 will get you a 2019 model that's done around 30,000 miles. The automatic braking system, AC compressor and oil leaks are all known issues with the XC90, but generally they've been pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are, do hit the like button and subscribe as well if you're new here, and let me know in the comments down below what is the most underrated car in the entire world. It doesn't have to be a luxury car, just what is the most underrated car you can think of. A super interesting one in second on the list is the Genesis G70 with its 2.2-litre inline-4 engine that makes 197 brake horsepower and does 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds. Genesis is the luxury division of Hyundai, and as a brand in general it's hugely underrated here here in the UK, mostly because it's only just reaching a position where people are actually paying any attention to it. The G70 has been in production since 2017 globally, but here in the UK we only got it after its first proper facelift in 2021, but that facelift has been pretty substantial. As a compact luxury executive car, it aims to compete with cars like the BMW 3 Series and Mercedes C-Class, and it's actually pretty related to the Kia Stinger. I actually think externally it looks really good, particularly in shooting brake spec, and on the interior it's pretty simple looking but lovely nonetheless, with premium materials throughout and all the tech you'd need in a car like this. The only thing I'd say is that the interior does remind me a bit of a 2010s Audi, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just not necessarily groundbreakingly luxurious or different, but it's still nice, and I think if you wanted to go for a car that will turn the most heads out of intrigue on this list, a Genesis will certainly do the job in today's market as they steadily grow in popularity. This is the most expensive car on the list though, starting at our 30k limit, and you get a 2022 model with 10,000 miles on the clock for that kind of money. As they're so new, there's not much to report in terms of reliability, but on pre-facelift models globally, people have commented on poor panel gaps, sunroof creaking, and poor drainage, which could lead to rust long term. Taking the top spot, we have the Maserati Ghibli, which has been maybe overshadowed by questions around its build quality, but remains a lovely luxury car for the money, considering it starts at around £13,000, with 30k getting you a 2018 model with 20,000 miles on it. For that, you're getting a 3-litre twin turbocharged V6 engine, making 345 brake horsepower, more than any car on this list, and managing 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds, almost 2 seconds faster than all the other cars on this list. And by the way, it sounds amazing. It sits on the same platform as the Levante and Quattroporte, though it is of course a smaller car than both, and it's positioned below the Quattroporte in the Maserati lineup, hence prices have dipped so much, plus the fact that it did absolute numbers for the business in terms of sales, selling more Ghiblis than all the other Maseratis combined in some years. Though it's the same platform, the Ghibli does have a slightly shorter wheelbase than the Quattroporte, and takes a bunch of parts from other cars in the FCA group. It raided the parts bin of the Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Dodge Charger, to name a couple. But despite that, it does still remain a nice car for the money, with a good looking exterior and a luxurious interior with nice quality materials. Yes, owners have complained in some cases about poor build quality, but all in, as with many other Maseratis, it's pretty good value for money second hand, as long as you know the auto boxes are known to be slow on acceleration and clutches are known to have problems early in their lives. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be hugely appreciated. Thank you again for watching, and to the patrons for their support. And if you want to watch another video on some cheap luxury cars, then click up here and subscribe down here.